Welcome back, everyone. I'm just going to quickly give you guys a video on some things I've found with this game. I know since Season 14 dropped, two things have changed, especially for me, is one, Season 14 dropped, and two, I upgraded some PC hardware. So we started playing Season 14 with some new PC hardware, and pretty much for the duration of my time playing Season 14, for those of you who have watched me on stream, you probably are just sick of me complaining about things feeling off in SnowRunner, especially with some vehicles that I have very high time with just from playing them on normal mode and also in hard mode as well. Anyways, I'm going to quickly show you a couple videos of instances where I was finding out these little things, and then I'm going to show you live right here on screen. I'm going to induce what I'm actually finding and whether or not I know if it's a bug or it's just built into just the way games are made. So anyways, let's check out this first video. So on this first video, I'm just going to quickly let this kind of play through. I might turn on the sound so you can hear what I'm saying in the background, but this is pretty early in Season 14. I'm using a truck that has very high power to weight. I don't see it stall much. I don't see its wheels lock up usually ever, to be honest. So as you can see, I think it's soybeans here. I have 6 of them. One is stacked on top of my truck, which I do sometimes. So I'm going to let this play through. I'm actually, I think, diff lock engaged right now. I'm heading up this little embankment to catch on to the next little path. So you'll see what I'm basically saying here as I'm kind of going through this, which I probably was there. No, it wasn't. No, it might be, I know what it is. See my trailer? See the backside of my trailer? And these. So yeah, I actually caught a little bit of the backside of my trailer, but that shouldn't actually stop my tires because, well, this truck has a ton of power. It might stop tires, but it really, from what I've seen, it doesn't really stop tires. This thing will just spin and spin and spin. The next instance here, we're going to just continue. I'm going to show you this other little bit. So this is where I actually throw it into high gear, and then I just start throwing it down this trail, and usually this is not an instance where this truck struggles. So here's where it happens. Wow. How am I stalling there? So as you can see, yeah, I've sent this truck in some different situations, and yes, I did collide with my nose, but usually as soon as you get forward movement in a vehicle like this, you can immediately shift into high and just the vehicle takes off in whatever gearbox it is. So while I didn't have my full momentum stopped, I did slam my nose, but usually I won't induce a stall there, especially with the likes of this truck. So let's talk about another one that's basically going to kind of give you a more clear picture of what I was thinking when this happened. All right, so this next segment here is basically me in the 681 here with one hay bale, 5-slot trailer. Pretty standard setup here for me, except I usually overload this thing like crazy. It's able to basically maintain its speed in high gear with no matter what gearbox. This truck is fantastic, has a ton of power to weight. So in this instance, this is kind of where I basically got really frustrated and said, something is definitely wrong. Something's off. Something is not playing right. I played this game enough. I'm not an expert. I play this game enough to whenever something changes in performance, I'm usually, I don't want to say keen to feeling those effects, but I pick up on them pretty easy just because, well, I stream this game as like part-time and make content. So I really do try to feel the game as much as I can, especially with performance. That's basically what the channel is based on, essentially. So you're seeing here, I'm going to get pretty frustrated. And after this point, a few people, basically Naked Dave and my modder W, they basically asked me, hey, maybe this is a frame rate issue. Maybe you should test this on your laptop. Well, if you guys don't know, I used to stream from a laptop. It's kind of sad, but that was the setup we had because that's just was life. So I'm gonna let this play through. You'll see me get kind of frustrated here, but essentially the vehicle is gonna stall out. Now, just to tell you beforehand, when I go up this hill, I use a vehicle prior going up that hill with a load attached to it as well. I believe the Plaid was hauling the 5070 up that hill to rescue him. So the trail is kind of beat up, but I don't think it's beat up enough to where it would induce a stall from a very high power to weight vehicle like this. And if anything, it would muddy the terrain and I would just spin more. So I'm just going to say this. This was the time I was like, okay, something is definitely wrong. It's not me. All right, so let's watch this. Basically, yeah. I was like, do I go left? Do I go right? First I chose left. And then my correction to right was just too late. This is where high range gearbox comes into play, but I just don't got it. Just don't got it. I think we'll make it though. What? How am I stalling? What is going on? I have never stalled on a hill like that. Dude, something is going on with this game. Okay, so as you can see there, I stalled going up and I immediately shifted out prior to actually getting the stall warning. I just knew I was going to stall out at a certain point when I was losing momentum going up the hill. And then after that, you see I engaged diff lock. Well, if you didn't notice there, probably from the video quality, I was actually looking at the tires, and when I threw it into low plus, I think with diffs on, I noticed my back tires were kind of stuttering. And that's just a very rare thing as well, especially with one load of hay bales on a 5-slot trailer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to go to my test map, and I'm going to actually induce this problem and then show you the fix. So let's get started. All right, guys, here we are on the test map here. And as you can see, I have a load here with basically a 5-slot bed. We have 2 concrete slabs, 1 concrete block just to fill up all 5 slots. Pretty standard load here. This isn't really like a feat of strength to walk this truck up. It does it pretty easily. I never really said that it was a crazy feat to drive up this hill with this truck with this load at any point in time, because I just know this truck does a lot more basically than this. So anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to recreate basically what has been happening on live stream right here on the test map and just show you what I've been experiencing. So at the bottom of your right hand side of your screen, you should be able to see the FPS counter, which it basically is pegged at 60, 59, whatever you want to call it. It's locked at 60. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to toggle this off. Frame rates are going to go off, FPS limit, and you're going to see my frame rates, they skyrocket. They go to like 370. So right now I'm at, 360 frames a second right now. And that's not crazy because, we're on a test map. The test map is very small. There's not a lot of things to load. Even on a laptop, I was getting roughly 200 frames a second on a laptop, which, yeah. So this is not outlandish. You probably will never get 360 frames in a native game. So I think you're okay there. This is just to recreate this, but I was experiencing this above 100 frames a second. I actually was experiencing this at 130 frames a second. I usually run about 120 to around 180-ish frames a second when I'm actually streaming on this new hardware. Since then, we're going to keep it capped at 60 after finding this out. Anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the information on. I'm basically going to put it in low plus, lock the diffs down, send it up the hill. And also, before we start, I need to mention that my triggers, I tested these all work at 100%, and even my old controller works. And we also tested with mouse and keyboard, and all these tests, even with older trucks and older videos, we've looked through those on stream. If you want to go back a couple streams ago and look at those, we tested those too as well. So this is just not an outlier scenario. This is basically happening, I would say, across the board. I think some trucks are affected a little bit more than others, but this one definitely here stands out the most, in my opinion, so far. Anyways, low plus, I'm going to put all-wheel drive on. I'm going to throw diff lock on as soon as we basically enter the course, and we'll just see what happens. 350 frames a second right now, 330. So you can see tires are starting to jiggle. I'm going to downshift here because, well, yeah, I'm losing power, so I might as well downshift. And you can see there's not much torque throughput. I'm completely stalled out. Putting the brake on right where I stalled. As you can see, we're at 290 frames a second, 300 right now. And that's basically where we are. This is the things I was experiencing in SnowRunner above 120 frames a second. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cap frames back to 60. I'm going to leave this in low plus. I'm going to take the brake off, and then we're going to go. And there you have it. The truck just walks the hill. So clearly, frames per second affect your performance. So to those folks that have good hardware, you actually might be griefing yourself if you have your frame rates set pretty high. At what point do I feel this actually occurring? Well, I capped it to 120 versus 60, and I felt it just a little bit, but it wasn't enough for me to say, oh, I won't play at 120 or above. But I think since then, after this, I will actually just keep it at 60 and actually have the most performance that I can get of any truck. Anyways, guys, that's just what I've experienced. I don't know if this is a bug, or I don't know if this is just something that's basically baked into how the game is made and how the engine actually runs. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. So I hope this helps you guys out. And until next time, God bless. Stay upright. We'll see ya.